What's up, plant lovers? Devin is here, and today we're going to be talking about growing blueberry plants, or the genus Vaccinium, in particular Vaccinium corymbosum and Vaccinium angustifolium. Now, blueberry plants are native to North America, and they're a beautiful woody shrub that not only does provide wonderful blueberries, but it's a shrub that's going to provide you year-round interest. So as I start to grow more and more North American native plants here in my garden in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Zone 6B, a plant that continues to touch my radar is the blueberry plant. Now, when I talk about bringing year-round interest, in particular, in the early springtime, it's one of the first plants to flush out its beautiful, rich green foliage with lovely white flowers. In the summertime, they provide you blueberries, like I have on this guy, as you can see right here. In the autumn time, the foliage will take on gorgeous, rich reds and oranges, totally illuminating the landscape. And then in the winter time, they will actually provide a gorgeous interest just from the sheer look of their branching, which is often twisted and gnarled. It provides a really cool, unique look in your garden. Now, there's two main classifications of blueberries. You have the Highbush blueberries, or Vaccinium corymbosum, and the Highbush blueberries can get 6, 8, even 10 feet tall, provides an abundance of blueberries. And within the Highbush, there's also the northern Highbush, which is for gardeners in the north that need a winter hardy blueberry. And then you have southern Highbush blueberries, which are blueberries that are better in a zones 8 to 10 range, that still get tall, but they grow better in those southern gardens. And then you also have the Lowbush blueberries, which are the Vaccinium angustifolium. Those tend to grow a little shorter, only reaching around 3 to 4 feet tall. And because they're smaller plants in stature, they provide less of an abundance of berries, but the fruit tends to be a darker blue with sweeter flavors. And then going beyond that, you have hybrids, which are oftentimes a cross between the Highbush and the Lowbush blueberries, creating a blueberry that is more accessible to gardeners across the country. Now, along with providing beautiful berries, wonderful foliage, that great branching, it's an awesome native North American plant to help both the mammals that are going to eat those berries, but also the Lepidoptera species, which includes moths and butterflies. This is a wonderful plant that is a host for tons of different moths and butterflies. So if you're looking to include plants to improve the pollinator populations in your garden and in your region, growing blueberry plants is fantastic. In my garden, at least, the berries are going to be designated for all of the animals in my yard rather than for me to come eat. I grow this purely for its ornamental qualities. Now, typically blueberries are a pretty easy plant to grow. They'll grow for many, many decades if grown properly. They'll grow their absolute best in the full sun, given lots of moisture, lots of nutrients, good rich soil, but they'll also do well as an understory plant. In the native North American forest, this is an essential component of the understory plant life. That's why I'm particularly growing them underneath my river birches and my dawn redwoods right here. They're gonna get less sunlight, and they may not get as big as they possibly could, and they may not provide as many berries as they possibly could, but it's going to be a lovely plant in a lovely situation. There is one main concern when growing blueberries, and that is the ability to provide them acidic enough soil so that they can grow happily. We'll touch more on that here in a little bit. I'll show you exactly how to add a soil acidifier to your soil to encourage better health and better growth of your blueberries. Now, what I'm going to be planting is called the Top Hat blueberry. This was developed by Michigan State University, and this is a pretty easy to find blueberry at garden centers and retailers like my family's nursery, Roberta's Gardens. And this is one of those hybrids I was mentioning, which is a cross between the Highbush and the Lowbush. The result is a plant that only gets around 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, but it has a really nice dense growth. And because of its stature, it's wonderful to put at the front of your shrub borders, like I will be planting right here, but it's also great to be grown in containers on your porches and patios and decks. If you're looking for a wonderful multi-season interest perennial in a container, this Top Hat is a great choice for that. as well as other blueberries that might be great for your region. Now, one thing to note when growing blueberries is that they do grow best when you grow at least 2 or 3 of them, because that's going to encourage cross-pollination from one plant to the next, and that will typically result in a better yield, as well as oftentimes bigger, plumper, juicier fruit. So I've got 2 already planted. I'm adding a couple more to the mix, so that should be exactly what these plants need. All right, so here in this garden bed, I get nice morning sunlight, a little bit of dappled sunlight throughout the day, and the soil is nice and rich. So let's go ahead and get digging. I'm gonna plant it around 3 feet away from the blueberry next door, as well as a few feet away from an Ito peony. So the first thing we wanna do, of course, is to dig a nice hole. Now you can see my soil is nice and rich. That's full of nutrition, exactly what the blueberries need. If you're able to provide them consistent moisture, that will result in the happiest plant. However, after like the 3rd or 4th year, they will generally subsist on Mother Nature's rainfall, assuming you're not in a severe drought. They do tend to be relatively drought tolerant, so that's just another great benefit of growing blueberries. All right, once you get the hole, pop it out, and you can see it's sort of root bound, so I'm gonna break these up a little bit, just so these roots transplant nicely. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I am a big proponent of not amending soil with fresh potting mix. The latest research shows that by allowing plants to grow in the natural existing soil that's in your beds, that's going to promote the best long-term healthiest plant life, rather than if you do provide it just a lot of amendments. Oftentimes what can happen is that those roots of the plant that you plant kind of stay coddled, and they never kind of look for new ground, new earth to grow into, and that can result in a little bit of a stunted plant. So I don't amend the growth, or I don't amend the soil at all, apart from the soil that came in that grower pot. And we're here in the beginning of May. This is a great plant to plant in the spring or in the fall, either way. But because we are moving into a little bit of warmer time, I'm gonna build this soil up a little bit so that it has kind of a nice thick layer on top, just to provide it like a little mulch action. Always ensuring that you leave a little bit of space from any kind of building up of soil or mulch to that main central stem, always leaving about 1 inch of space. And now that's pretty much it for planting them up. All right, so as we were mentioning earlier, blueberries need a nice acidic soil in order to thrive. So how do we provide them with enough acidity for them to grow happily? Now, as we remember, a pH is on a scale of 0 to 14, 0 to 7 being the range of acidity, 7 to 14 being a range of alkali. My soil is naturally around 6.5. Blueberries tend to do best between 4.5 and 5.5, which is typically the same kind of soil that azaleas, rhododendrons do well in. So how do I get my soil pH to lower a little bit so that my blueberry does not have a chlorotic appearance, which chlorotic appearance, it looks like the leaves are yellowing. It can often result in a malformation of fruit. So we don't want that. We want to ensure that we're providing the correct acidity. There's lots of different homemade ways to increase the acidity of your soil. However, what I do, I like to keep it easy. I will use this as Spoma Organic Soil Acidifier because it's, you know, about $20 for this 2-pound bag or 6-pound bag. And this is gonna last me probably 2 years for the 4 blueberry plants that I've got growing. Really, all you need to do is follow the directions on the back. It says right here. This is also the same type of thing that you would use if you have pink or kind of red hydrangea flowers that you want to turn a little bit more blue or purple. You're going to use this in the same way that I'm going to be using for my blueberries. Now here on the back it says apply in the spring to lower the soil pH. For new plants like this, use 1 1/4 cup. So how do we do that? Basically, I've got a 1/2 cup measuring cup. I'll scoop it out, And we're going to apply this around the drip line of our plant. The drip line is essentially the extent that our leaves emanate outwards, creates kind of like a diameter, and we call that the drip line. So we're going to apply this right around that drip line. So that's half a cup, that's 1 cup, and here's another, well, it said 1 1/4, but we're gonna do 1 1/2. Super easy just like that. And now we're gonna go ahead and water it in nicely. And then I'll just use my hands, my gloves, and just kind of pat that down a little bit better. And the great thing is that next time it rains, this soil acidifier is going to enter in a little bit better, and it's going to continue to enter in slowly over the course of the season. And that's why I like using that soil acidifier bagged mix. Super easy to follow and to use. Well, and that's pretty much all that you need to know to get your blueberries planted and growing successfully. If you follow all those steps, you will be enjoying the beauty of your blueberry plant from season to season for years to come, enjoying those delicious little fruits all along the way. Anyways, if you do have any further questions, make sure to leave them below in the comment section, or if you do have experience that you'd like to share and add to the community, make sure to leave those below as well. Don't forget, like this video and subscribe to our channel, Plant Vibrations, if you found this video helpful and if you enjoy watching plant-related content every single week. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me here. I'll catch you soon. Ciao.